Welcome, everybody. Yeah, Valley of the Dirt People. How's it going, Logan?
Good.
This is the show where we talk about what?
Dirt bikes and or motorcycles and motorcycle-related products.
It can be dirt bikes. It can be dirt bikes and motorcycle-related products, or motorcycle and dirt bike-related products. I just, because some people, they don't realize that their dirt bike is a motorcycle and vice versa.
Yeah.
So, do you ever go to family? Now, your family's pretty moto-oriented. Did you ever go to? I had this happen all the time. You go to like a family function or something like that with kind of some, we'll call them outsiders. They don't really know exactly what you do, and then they're the kind of, it's like it'd be like your grandma sending you a pillow shaped like a Harley, and because it's a motorcycle. Because it's a motorcycle. Yeah. So you ever have that happen? Like they'll give you a T-shirt.
Yeah, like with my grandma actually.
Yeah, with Harley. Yeah, it's okay. They know it's two wheels. It's all cool. So we are going to dive right into it. This show is brought to you by Taco Moto Co. on the webs. That's CO. Don't use the M. And they make all kinds of stuff for your emissions compliant bikes. That's what they specialize in. And they're getting into Hondas now. So if you don't want to ride the KTM 500, which is the bike you should ride because it's the best bike for everybody, if you ask me, because that's what I say all the time, evidently, then you can have a Honda CRF250L, and now he's starting to get you some modified products for that. So Taco Mike can probably answer your questions and take care of stuff. What else do we have? Climb.
Yes.
Have you seen the new Dakar gear colors yet?
No, I have not.
Why not?
Because I haven't seen you wear them.
Oh, well, that's good because leads right into that. That means they need to send them to me. I need some new Climb colors. I have the old colorways, but I've been wearing Moto gear lately, so haven't been doing a ton on the off-road stuff. It's a little bit too hot out here, but I did request some of the new colorways for some photo shoots I have coming up, so you'll be seeing those soon. But you should don't you look on the Instagrams or what do you do all the time with your phone? And what are you doing when you're doing this?
Googling answers to homework.
Googling answers to homework.
That's what Cheg's for.
That's what we do these days.
Also, producer Matt here.
Yeah, welcome to the show, Matt. Do I have to introduce you?
Here.
You need, do you require? I handed you a check.
You did hand me a check. Yeah, it was nice.
So just shut up.
You just pay me to sit here and shut up.
Just take money. Keep making things happen. I see we have a special guest.
Yeah, there's a special guest.
We have a special guest we can bring onto the show, but actually we should bring him on the show because he quite possibly is more knowledgeable than I am, at least about certain things. I know about certain things because our guest is Ron Lawson, who is he'll have to explain exactly what he is at Dirt Bike Magazine because we stole like 3/4 of their name. They're Dirt Bike Magazine and we're Dirt Bike Test, but Ron has been
All right, I'll bring him on the show.
Oh no, we're confusing everybody now.
Wait, no, we're confusing everybody.
I can make anything more confusing and worse. So Ron he'll tell you exactly what he is at Dirt Bike. I think he's the editor-in-chief of Dirt Bike Magazine. He was at Cycle World Magazine long before I was. When I was a runt about your age, a little bit older than you. I tried to bum test bikes from him because I was trying to figure out how I could get free motorcycles some way, shape, or form. And he was at Cycle World at the time, and little did I know that I would actually follow a little bit in his footsteps editorially, and then pioneer new ground for racing because we did race together a few times as well. Horrible experiences, right, Ron? Except for that one time on the KLX 650, which I was telling the story to somebody.
Whoa.
Oh no, this show can go on forever. We don't have time limits. What happened, Matt? Did you break it already?
Yeah. One second, I'm gonna switch it back to you really quick. I don't know what just happened. What just happened? Sorry, we're
Right.
having some technical difficulties all of a sudden.
Yeah, I was picking up like the
Yeah, it suddenly
the
switched
docs.
screens for me.
It's back.
We're back.
Well, it's probably
Well, it's on the wide screen right
By
now.
now
I'm trying to
it's-
figure out what just happened.
Well, then just figure it out and don't talk. I'll talk. Me and Ron will have a little chat. Ron, do you have a beer? Because actually, I have a beer. I almost had it. No, this is a High Life. This is a champagne of beers.
I don't think people can hear him right now.
They can't hear him yet.
Yeah.
Well, I can. Can he? Maybe is he on the screen? Did you pull him up on the screen?
So I'm trying to figure out exactly what's going on right now. The screen capture just totally switched off to something else.
yeah,
Okay.
the Google
I don't know what just happened to the
page.
switch.
I think Ron's going to have to use sign language. Is what's going to have to happen. You're going to have to sign your answers, and I'm going to have to translate. Actually, you're probably going to say something good about yourself, and then that's why we cut you off.
Okay, we should be good.
We should be good now. Okay. This is technology. I don't
Yeah.
understand how any of this works. I just host this show. Logan, do you know who Ron is?
No,
Did you see him at the Alpinestars gear intro
I haven't really seen him
before? Do you even
Well,
know which guy
right
he is?
now. So yeah,
Right. So this is what happens. These kids, Ron, they don't know who you are. So let's get back into like how I probably. Right, but you weren't much older. How? Yeah. So I was at the Nevada rally. I was having problems with my clutch burning up, and the reason this kind of came up just recently is I had a quad team here that had a super high powered Yamaha. What's the? It's not the 450. What's the next one up? The Raptor with the 660 motor in it. 700, yeah, because they make it into something bigger and stuff, and they had this clutch in there. There was a locker clutch. It was a real interesting thing, and I'm like, well, that's really good and really bad, because if you lock it up, then you start breaking gears, and they go, oh yeah, we've had this happen, and I go, and I knew about like clutches, how they slip when you're wide open because they just can't pull the gears, and so they had this locker clutch thing in there, and of course it caused breaking transmissions and all kinds of other stuff. But that's what I was on a KLX 650. It was actually a really good bike for the Nevada rally, except it would smoke the clutch every day, and then I would blow up, and then I'd have to fix it. And then Ron would start ahead of me, and I'd catch him, and he was the hardest guy in the world at the Nevada rally to pass ever. So I think I told Heather to throw all your gear out on the side of the road someplace.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. I was on
Grabbing
the
audio from
fastest
Ron right now.
motorcycle ever made. I was on a.
I don't know what's going on with this thing. It was working before. Oh.
Are we there?
I think it suddenly just fixed. I think it suddenly just got fixed.
Yeah, don't ring the bell. Just
I'm not going to ring the bell.
be quiet and let Ron talk. You're on a what? KTM what?
I was on a 552 stroke.
Oh,
It was. Everybody else was on 4 strokes for that race because 4 strokes were kind of cool at the time, and we thought at the time that 2 strokes were uncool. Things would change.
yeah.
And so, but I wanted to ride the fastest motorcycle made, so I got a KTM 550. What I didn't know was I would be the only one of those in the race, and there wouldn't be a single spare part anywhere. So I blew out the shock on the first day, and I had Gary Jones rebuilding the shock every single night, and he didn't have the right tools to do it, so I didn't have any damping for whatever it was, 2,000 miles in the rear shock.
Right.
But that wasn't the cause of our problems.
What was the cause of our problems other than I couldn't get by you? I remember I hated you after that. I mean, there was a blistering amount of hate that it's hard to really explain.
It's because I would be starting last, and you would be starting first one day, and then starting last the next, because you broke down every other day.
No, I broke down pretty much every day, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe we were on alternating cycles or something like that, but yeah, and then I think, yeah, you know what? I bet you what pissed me off, now you start talking about it, I bet you your bike threw a lot of roost, like a lot of rocks
It was a 552 stroke. It made like 70 horsepower.
Yeah. Yeah, mine. I couldn't hold it wide open. I could only hold it about 3/4 open because if I held it wide open, the clutch would just go out. So, good.
Your bike made about 30 horsepower, but at least it weighed 400 pounds.
Yes. So Ron, what we do on this show, I know because I'm sure I didn't see Top Fan logo come up when we got you on there, so I have to probably explain this to you. We answer people's motorcycle questions, so we basically kind of like live on the show. And Logan, this is what Logan does. Logan doesn't just sit here and look pretty, but he did bring his ex-girlfriend into the show tonight. She's looking pretty sweet over there, smiling at us and everything. I don't know what happened. Oh, you got the questions?
Yeah.
You got them on your phone. So we're going to start. What did Todd Kelly have to say? And feel free to chime in and answer these questions. Evidently, this question we got asked last week, and we were accused of not answering it.
But maybe it got overlooked. What would be considered too long on pavement or too fast for a mousse? Is a mousse a bad idea for a BDR dual sport kind of ride in Colorado on a 450? I'm looking to run light without pneumatic tools / parts and avoid flats, obviously. I have my bike set up ready to go for the trip next week with a Tech No Mousse Enduro rear with the Tusk Disport and regular Nitro Mousse up front in the Tusk Soft / intermediate tire. I added extra nitro lube in the tires. Just didn't want to have a failure because I ran too fast for too long on the tarmac.
So this week we got way more information on this question. I mean, he told us what tires and a lot of other stuff. Because do you remember we answered this?
Yes.
And I said it's not a big deal. You can run a mousse in dual sport like applications as long as you're not like pinning. I mean, they run them in rallies, so that's kind of like worse than dual sport conditions. I'm a little if it's the Techno Mousse, and I haven't used one of these for a long time, but those were kind of like more plastic, and those didn't like a lot of heat cycle. So if you're doing like 5 or 6 days on it, I remember that those ones kind of deteriorated after like 3 days. It didn't really matter how much you rode them each day. It was the heat cycles, but I know the Nitro Mousses are good. The Michelin ones are good. So extra lube in the tires is good. Those tires should be fine. I wouldn't worry about it. So now we took twice as long to answer that question as we did last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully he heard it this time. He probably went and got a beer and came back, and we'd already passed through his question because there's no other way you could stand this show.
John's Solmier.
Hey Ron, you gotta be patient with Logan. His reading skills. He just got back in school. He's only been reading for what, a week now?
2 days.
2 days.
First week.
When was the last time he was actually in a classroom?
Last year. I was back for all of last year.
But that wasn't in a classroom. Oh no, you went half the time, right?
Yeah, half the time.
So
then at the second half of the year, I went all the time.
Okay. I hardly even noticed. His dad's over here shaking his head, calling BS. So last week didn't count for school. It was like just practicing going to school.
What most of the safety procedures and what we do in the class and how the grading is.
Do you feel safe?
Well, not with me in the class, but yeah, most I feel safe. But
Confidence inspiring. Okay, what does Joe Scholmeyer want?
where is the Triumph? Surely someone has leaked some information or a photo out there among our friends.
I've been digging around for this and talking to people, and no, I haven't seen anything. You're a credible journalist, right, Ron?
That's what you say.
Well, shouldn't you be diving in as you are probably the largest off-road dirt bike magazine in the world right now?
Yeah, it's maybe the largest motorcycle magazine. I don't know how big. How big is Ryder?
Ooh, Ryder has I don't remember. I remember used to seeing those numbers, but once I moved over to Dirt Rider, when we were the largest off-road motorcycle publication, yeah, Ryder probably has you beat. But are you guys bigger than MXA?
We're about the same. I mean, there's some months that we're in front of them, but it's all because we alternate the same distributors, and people basically never know where to find a print magazine anymore. You can find them, in any Barnes and Noble, but beyond that, I don't think Barnes and Nobles are even open.
They have them on the newsstand out here in Pahrump. You can get Dirt Bike Magazine in the Pahrump Smiths. I've seen that for sure. I mean,
that's
people here. That's where don't you ever get those charts that show you where all the magazines sell and stuff like that, or they don't do that? Yeah. Yeah, we used to get all that kind of information and everything, and then they'd have the guys upstairs would have all these crazy ideas. Well, we're selling a lot of magazines up in Seattle, so maybe shouldn't we have more of a grunge look? Yeah. Like,
I think they make sure that it's the Stater Brothers near my house, and that's about all they care about.
Yeah. So you feel like you're doing that. So you haven't dug up any info on the Triumph, or you're not willing to share it? You have it's like under embargo till the next issue.
No, I don't really have much of a relationship with Triumph. A few years ago, we talked a lot with those guys. We tested one of their bikes, but I didn't even know anything about the new Triumph until it hit. I did dig up a picture of the Buell, and just to reminisce about what happens when street bike companies get involved with dirt bikes. And I'm really hoping it goes better than that.
Yeah, I saw a picture of that, but it's been a long time now, right?
It was an awesome looking bike. For people who don't remember what Buell was it was kind of a sport bike powered by a Harley Davidson motor. And they decided that Harley Davidson actually bought the company out, and it was a part of Harley Davidson for a while. And then Eric Buell decided they were going to make dirt bikes, and they hired some pretty formidable people. You remember, did you work at Cycle World when Steve Anderson was there?
Yep.
Well, Steve Anderson was involved with that project pretty deeply.
Yeah, and I know some people on the motorcycles development side. They were working with race teams and stuff that were, kind of advising or consulting on that project as well.
So for years that was really secret. No one saw a picture of the Buell, and then eventually it crumbled before the bike ever reached market. And then Steve once showed me a picture of it on his phone, and he wouldn't let me have it. But years later, it surfaced, and the bike was pretty good for the day. We're talking about 2005 or something like that.
Really, was that recent? I thought it was. Yeah, I guess it would have been that, because I would have been at Dirt Rider, and I knew they were doing stuff, and we were just kind of waiting for something to kind of pop, because it was after the Cannondale, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what soured that whole thing, is like all the success that Cannondale had with making that motorcycle. That now it's funny how.
That was mostly a stock market collapse more than a. I mean, it was a terrible motorcycle, but we all liked it because it was straight.
Well, some of us. I think if you still own one, it's probably the map that's in your ECU is a map that I designed or developed. Because I actually had one that wouldn't stall, which was kind of strange. That bike was kind of notorious for stalling. And I kind of was able to play around with my palm. And we know what a palm is? It's exactly like that thing, but a wire comes out of it. And it has the computing power of the space shuttle. And yeah, real slow. So anyways.
Dirt Rider Bike of the Year.
Well, that was before me. I had nothing to do with that, even though I did like the Cannondale. It had some redeeming qualities. I saw things like, I saw advantages in this strange concept to spin the motor around backwards. I thought that would actually be a good thing, and having the airbox up high kind of in front of you. Didn't see anything wrong with that. no problem programming it through my phone or my device. I thought that was pretty cool stuff. I don't have any issues with aluminum frames, but I like Goosebergs. Ron, do you like Goosebergs 570s?
You know, the Gooseberg with the stacked up motor.
Yeah.
Actually, it was after the KTM era, but that was a very great. One of those bikes would hold up well today.
The 570.
Well, they made several different sizes, didn't they?
Yeah, there was a 350, a three. No, I'm sorry, not three. They had a 390, a 450, and a 570. And I still have two 570s. You probably wouldn't know this. Every once in a while I affectionately refer to them. Because I like talking about them because it has. You know how when you ride out in the desert and there's hoop-de-doos, Ron? Just like endless sets of hoop-de-doos. I had to explain to somebody how those occur, and they thought because the Gooseberg was just there, like digging holes and throwing a lot of dirt. But in reality, have you ever had like a carpet or something like that, and you push on one end and it slides and it ripples?
Well, yeah.
Yes. So yeah, like the carpet bunches up or something. Like that's what the Gooseberg does to the earth. That's how much power this 570 has, and it's probably like that 550 you were talking about earlier. It just has so much power. It literally it stretches and coils, kind of rubber bands the earth back up. Yeah, that's where hoops come from.
What era is the 570? Are you talking about the ones that look like Captain Nemo, the submarine, the novelist?
No, that was the last generation of the real Goosebergs. So that was like mine is it's 2008 to 2012 is when they were building the 70-degree motor is what it was called. But yeah, even the older ones back then they made some power. Those are good bikes. So
that'll be a footnote pretty soon. No one will believe that motor actually existed. You need to hang on to those.
Yeah, they're as long as you don't have to work on them, they're great bikes. What does Derek Perez want to know?
Bought an Apollo 125 RFZ from a guy. Yeah, I should have spent a little more time to get something better, but have you ridden one and thoughts on how they perform? So,
Derek Perez, let's see. He bought are you familiar with the Apollo 125 RFZ, Ron?
I'm assuming that it's a modern Chinese brand. There was an Apollo 40, 50 years ago that I don't remember anything about other than it exists. I think it was a Briggs & Stratton motor. But I'm thinking that's probably an Asian.
Yeah, I mean, don't you have the? Do you still have to do the buyer's guide, the Dirt Bike Magazine buyer's guide?
Yeah, but you've got to have a pretty quick shutter speed to catch all the Chinese bikes as they come and go. I'm not saying that the Apollo isn't a fine motorcycle. I'm just saying I really don't know exactly what it is.
Well, this is the kind of question we get on this show. So he bought it from a guy. That's he didn't buy it from the Apollo dealer or anything. He bought it from a guy. The guy may have bought the bike or bought 10 of them from Amazon and imported them over. And so and I'm not really super familiar with the Apollo 125, and I don't have the arduous task of producing a buyer's guide and knowing about every single motorcycle that's known to man. So he should have spent a little more to get something better. That's a tell sign right there.
Yeah, that's a dangerous sign. I'm thinking about it now. It wasn't an Apollo back in the day. The Gemini SST was what I was thinking about back in the day. Do you remember those?
No. Now you're starting to sound old, Ron. We're trying to keep the kids interested. Logan's pretty much ready to go to sleep. You ready to go to sleep? He's waiting for my snap answer for this guy, aren't you?
The what?
He's the snap answer, right? Well, what would you tell this guy?
I'm pretty sure you can buy them off Amazon.
Oh, did you already? You got one on order right now? Did you already? That's
No.
what you're doing there. You're ordering an Apollo because they're the new thing.
No, but I'm pretty sure I saw one pop up on when I searched in the dirt bike.
What does it look
Post.
like?
I don't know. Probably.
A Zing Zang? Does it look like, or like KLX 125?
I don't know.
No, you don't know. He's buying one right now.
Pollo motorcycle.
Well, here's the thing. He says, have you ridden one? No. And what are your thoughts on how they perform? Well, if he bought one, he should tell me how it performs. So Derek Perez, please submit us your ride report, and then we can then we'll know, and you can tell everybody else how it performs. Is it Papa Wheelie? What?
So I am pretty sure this is one of the bikes that we saw at Chaparral.
Oh, it's a pit bike.
Yeah,
They sell them at Chaparral,
I'm pretty sure.
or they sell it under a different name.
Pollo I think it's called the Pollo at Chaparral. They have a
Matt, you didn't know about this?
Japanese.
What?
You didn't know about the Apollo bike?
No, unaware of that. I've been frantically making sure whatever happened doesn't happen again.
Okay, that's good.
Because I'm still trying to figure out what happened.
I hope you can fix the squeaky sound in post. The scratchy noise. You're probably not hearing it. You hearing it? You kind of hear it sounds like the wind. Oh, it better
wind.
not be that. I'll get pissed off if it's that.
Should we turn it off?
Yeah. Have your ex-girlfriend get the clicker.
So
or since she's your ex-girlfriend, she doesn't have to listen to you anymore.
I don't know. You can buy one of those bikes for $618.
$618 brand new Apollo 125. Now you know. So okay. Scott Zendel says, please ask Yamaha to make the 350. Ron, did you do this for Scott? Did you ask Yamaha to make a 350?
I think that so many people have been down that road and they've gotten the same answer and over again that no one bothers to ask anymore. It's just good news for Austria.
Maybe as esteemed motorcycle journalists, we shouldn't ask. We should tell Yamaha to make a 350, right? Wouldn't that be our job?
I've tried telling them many things on many occasions, and they will, if they already were doing it, then they usually will stop doing it after I talk about it.
What if we get Jody on board? You think? I mean, you work in the same building as Jody, right?
Well, no one really works in that building anymore, but I live in the same town as Jody. I was at his house not more than a couple hours ago.
And so if you're curious, we're speaking about Jody Weisel of Motocross Action Magazine. And so I bet you if Jody told Yamaha to make a 350, then maybe they would, right?
Yeah, you would have to have a Rotax motor.
A Rotax.
And Horse Lightning would have to design it.
Ooh, yeah. And it'd have to have a countershaft countershaft sprocket disc brake. And a chain torque elimination system.
There's find a picture of an ATK 406, and that's what it would have to be. Not a 350, a 406.
Uh-huh.
We're probably working on that project.
Yeah. Hey, Ron, you probably can't. This tonight we always talk about a tequila that we're drinking. Oh, another shot glass kind of migrated onto the table. Tonight we're having tequila Cincoro, and so this is our tequila of the night. I'll tell you how it is in a few minutes. This is courtesy of Jimmy Tyler, Logan's dad. Gave this to us at our final off-road class of the season this year, when we were wrapping up our season. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I thank you very much for that. And by the way, this show couldn't be possible without the support of Jimmy Lewis Off-Road Training, right, Logan?
Yes.
What do we do at that school?
We teach people how to ride dirt bikes.
We make you a better rider.
Yes.
Yeah, through a series of extensive, well-rehearsed drills and training techniques. It's magic on the motorcycle, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on.
It's like a magic wand.
Yeah, you start talking.
So, Scott Zundel. Oh, that one's already done.
Yeah, well, Scott, so I have asked Yamaha to make a 350. If any other company made a 350, Yamaha would be the best one. I mean, imagine that motor architecture and the way that 250 runs, and that would be a really good motorcycle.
Well, somebody told them to build a new 125 two-stroke, and they kind of did.
Did I tell them that?
I think that I'm going to say yeah.
Okay, because I still ride my 2005 YZ125, and it's almost identical to the 2021. But I'm excited about the 2022. And in fact, I promised I wouldn't break an embargo if they got me one to test for long term.
And
So,
did you?
I don't have it yet. So,
What
okay,
embargoes have you broken lately?
I'm trying to break all of them. That way, I don't have to go to these intros anymore. I'll get uninvited. Actually, we're going to talk about the new YZ250F and the 2022 YZ250F and YZ450F tonight. But we're not going to talk about the 2022s. We're going to talk about the 2021s. If somebody asks questions about them, we're just going to talk about the 2021s because they're pretty much the same. And I could get if you took one of those and you made some suspension changes and changed the rear wheel, then I could probably infer how the bike would work. And I have to wait till Thursday to ride anything.
Well, don't tell me anything about the rear wheel.
Oh, why? You didn't feel it?
It's new. I can't. You're under sworn secrecy not to say anything about the rear wheel.
I think they announced that though.
Well, how it works though.
Oh, I don't know how it works. I mean, how are you going to feel a rear wheel?
I saw you riding it.
I rode it a lot. I probably rode it more than anybody else that day.
Did you ride the 450 very much?
Rode them both.
Okay.
I did four solid motos. How many motos? Did I do at least 4 motos?
Oh, at least, yeah. No, you rode a lot.
Yeah, I did 4 motos, I think.
I tried to ride as much as you, but my hands started to blister up.
Keep working on that computer. Just keep punch keys over there.
But dirt bikes are fun.
Yeah. Okay, what does Chris Smith want to know?
I know you had an issue comparing bikes because it had been a while and you're not side by side. That's what the strengths and weaknesses. What are the strengths and weaknesses between the YZ250F and new CRF250?
Okay, so we can talk about the new CRF. You haven't ridden the new CRF250. You sent Mark Tilley up there for that one, right?
Yeah, but I just picked it up today, so I get to ride it this weekend.
Okay, and we can talk about this one. So as an esteemed motorcycle journalist, how did it feel like rolling it back up in the truck? Because I mean that's half the test.
I've got my pen out to hear you talk about what you think of it now, so I know what to think.
Oh well, but I mean any good Instafluencer, like they pretty much have most of the evaluation done by the time the tie downs actually hit the handlebars. I think. I mean they snap a couple pretty banger photos of those things, and most of the tests, remember how you used to go to you get to the track and you go do your photos. The first thing you do is go find the back of the berm where it's all the soft dirt is fluffed off from the track on the backside of the berm. You just go do a pivot turn and a big roost. Every cover shot I ever got on Dirt Bike Magazine, I meant.
The backside of the berm and then the dirt bomb. Did we ever do a dirt bomb?
Oh, me and you, like we played the dirt bomb out. Like nobody could even do that anymore because we overdid it. We ruined it. And actually, the fact that we're talking about it right now, there's going to be some face grammars or whatever they're called. They're going to learn that trick, and bang, you're going to see it.
It's going to come back.
It's new. Old is new again. I promise you.
You might have to explain to Logan the dirt bomb.
So what happens?
It takes at least 3 people.
It takes 3 people. So what happens? He knows a little bit about this because he's seen me do it like on sand dunes where I'll make a rut and I'll jump up the rut. I've had you do it before. Jump up the rut so your feet drag dirt up. And so when you're doing the photo, you see dirt exploding like when you're doing the jump. So
Yeah.
So the dirt bomb is you get your jump or whatever you're going to do. You get it all set up, and the photographer gets all set up. And mind you, this is back in the day when they had film, so they had to like crank the camera, then wind the camera up and stuff, and they had to put the gunpowder in the flash tubes and all that thing. But so you get it all set up and you do the jump, and then Ron would stand there and I'd be on the motorcycle. I'd do the jump and he'd throw a big giant bucket of dirt at me, and he'd try to hit you like right in the kind of the cases. And it was tricky. It was tricky to do. But you now you go back and you look at all these photos in the magazine where you see this dirt exploding, and you're like, wow, look at that thing. It's just exploding.
Do you remember Craig Mason?
Oh, yeah.
He was the master of the dirt bomb because he didn't care how many rocks hit his knuckles. Because you wouldn't even have to sift the sand and the dirt. I mean, because rocks looked better when they were flying and bouncing off, faces and everything.
Yeah,
and
see,
Craig would just smile and deal with it no matter how much he bled.
Yeah, and I knew better because I could, me and the photographer had some sort of like, sign language. If we'd figured out, we'd already know we got the banger. But Ron couldn't help himself to say one more, and then he'd throw it up in your face. So you'd be doing it, and the dirt would all of a sudden be 3 feet higher than it was before, and it'd just be blasting off of your face. You've never done
I
it.
tried to bring back the dirt bomb a few times, but people aren't, they just don't have a sense of humor like they used to.
Sense of humor, pain tolerance. Yes. So Brock Suter, who is another Pahrump local out here. Brock lives out here in Pahrump. Used to race mini bikes against him back in Indian Dunes. He wants to know if the Yamaha, does it come in any other colors? Do you know the answer,
yes,
Logan?
it does.
The Monster Edition?
Yeah. How did you know that?
Chaparral.
Oh, jeez.
There's also one at Alpinestars.
Yeah.
They had a monster one there?
They had, it was a 450.
But were those this year's or were they last year's?
They were 21s.
They were 21s. I was saying I didn't think they would have brand new ones out there. Yep, Brock, it comes in the Monster Edition. And then I'm sure you can buy any color you want. Well, Ron, I think I'm going to have you stick around for our next segment. We have this other segment here. We call it Roost or Endo. You got time? You're not pending on any of those.
Sure, I don't have a lot.
And I'm worried about your deadlines.
Oh yeah, I got Mark Tilley. He's fine.
So what are you the editor in chief, the co-editor?
I haven't picked up a magazine. Here, I'll pick one up.
Hold it up on the screen so everybody can see, because they might recognize the logo because nobody reads anymore. Oh, is that tear sheets? Are we not allowed to see that yet? Are we getting
This
a preview?
is how magazines, when they're baby magazines, before they grow up, this is what they look like.
The Syncura has a nice smoky flavor. I like it. Yeah, it's good.
I'm a big fan.
I'm the editor. There's lots of editors.
There's two editors, right? Tom Webb is the editor.
He's an editor, yeah. I think Mark Tilley's. We're just editors.
Just editors. Like they used to want me to call myself an editor in chief, and I just refused because I came from someplace where I had an editor in chief, and I felt it was a little pompous.
Mr. Edwards, he was.
He liked that though. He was good with the chief. He had no problem with the chief.
Yeah.
So you're gonna grab the board, Logan?
Yeah.
So we have this board that Logan magically constructed, and what we have is we have our readers send in. They send in pictures and descriptions of their bike, and then we tell them whether their bike roosts or endos. And so, endo would be bad. And can you kind of see the board here?
I do.
Okay, so the board here. So over here, well, it's just a bunch of different bikes that people have sent us. And over here on this end, this is an ATC 185 that one of my coaches at the school sent in, and this is a horrible vehicle, but he sent it in and thought we would like it or something. And there's also an XL 125 that caught on fire inside of a trailer. That's down here because those bikes really endo. And then up at the high end, there's a really nice TT Yamaha TT 500. It's underneath a couple others right now. Way up there, there's some really well set up. There's bikes that have won Ironman Expert at Vegas to Reno. There's a guy that has a pretty cool KDX 220. I think it was, or 200 or 220.
200.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, KDX 200. Yeah, that's a Roost for sure. And then I don't know if you noticed, there's one way at the kind of on the far end. It's kind of off the scale. Well, like
It's got a little extension. there.
Yeah, that is the Gooseberg 570. That's my Gooseberg 570, just to set the scale. So where your bike may end up. So Logan, what are we starting
Well, how many
out with?
bikes do you own right now? Just not to, let's see where they all would wind up on the Roost Endo scale.
Oh, most of them would be like, if it's a KTM 500, it'd probably be at the middle, or it'd be in the Roost zone, because I have a lot of those. But I have a lot of rental bikes. I have a lot of KTM RFS bikes and stuff, and those would kind of, because they have carburetors on them, they'd be down here a little more. But they're all for sale. If you want to buy a nice KTM carbureted RFS bike, I'm actually going to buy another one in a couple days. I got a line on a 520. Yeah, most of mine would be in kind of in this zone here. I don't have a KTM TPI bike because it'd be way up here for sure if it was mine. Logan
Nothing down
just
the Endo. Nothing for Heather. Nothing way down there.
There's
a lot of KDX 200s in the past, as I recall.
Well, the KDX 200, it's up here. I mean, this guy, he was a value-minded guy. He gave us the specs on it. It was okay. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in a good mood, too. Because there's some really nice bikes down here, but it was on the wrong day.
We need justice for that CR.
The tequila maybe hadn't kicked in, or I was sitting in an airport with a mask on trying to do this show, and it didn't work out. So what's our first bike, Logan? What do we got?
Craig Alberts.
Craig Alberts. A 1967 Suzuki Bearcat. Good God, hold the picture up.
This thing's sweet, yeah.
Whoa. Oh, I thought it was going to be a pile of crap. Look at
People on live stream should be able to see it now.
That is a really nice Chariot. I have to look at it because I can't see the live stream.
That looks like for Ron too, because I don't know if Ron can see it.
That looks like a Honda CL. Yeah, hold it up here. You can go to my camera and you can probably get a good view on that. If you don't want.
I think that has a dual range transmission
right now.
Yeah, it's like, didn't Honda? What was there like a CL 125 or something that they used to have?
Well, that's going to be a two-stroke there, though.
Yeah.
And is it a twin?
No, it's a single.
No.
He changed out the rear knobby for a street tire due to it having almost as much power as a 570 Gooseberg. Oh, Craig, you just hold on.
I think he has one, a 570.
Craig Albert has a 570?
If I'm thinking of the right dude.
Yeah, I think he does. But he just compared it to, it just drifted way the heck down here. Get a pin. Ron, do you know anything about this? Did you ride these in your childhood?
In my garage right now, I have a 1967 Suzuki. It's not that one. It's a 305 Raider.
Well, you can if it's are you restoring it?
I haven't yet. What happened was my buddy Mark Dooley has a bunch of old junk motorcycles, and every time I went to a shop at DDG, I would express interest in that. And one time we went to lunch, and he had someone with a forklift dump it in the back of my truck when we got back because he didn't want to look at it anymore. And now it's leaking in my garage.
Does it work?
No, it doesn't have anything that works.
Craig, don't compare anything to the Gooseberg 570. You will feel the wrath. That looks like a pretty sweet little. I mean, that's a nice bike. There's some history there. I'll bet you I could jump it and break it in half, though. Almost positive. Okay, what does Mike Rocco have?
A 2018.
Hey, we've done this enough now. You know how this works. You hold up the picture, you hand me the thing, and I'll list it off here. Do you need an instruction manual for Roost or Endo?
No, you kind of stole I say the name and then.
You say the name, and then
I don't know.
How am I supposed to remember this thing? We invented it on the fly.
Do you need a manual for?
Yeah, I need a manual. Mike Rocco has a 2018 KTM 6 Days EXCF 450.
That shouldn't be allowed. That's a cheater.
I have a 500. Mine's in Italy. Mine's a Portugal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where is this one from, Logan?
It's France.
France. He's got a France. Seat concept comfort seat, P3 carbon pipe guard, MME clutch. I don't know what that is. Do you know what MME clutch is?
No.
No, neither do I. ASV brake levers. We know what those are.
Yeah.
Cyclops headlight, Fastway Evo pegs, Polysport ignition and swing arm protectors, sick ass rear taillight and turn signals, and trail-bound rubber tie-downs for spare tools and gas.
Did you see the 450 EXE 6 days edition is gone forever? They now it's just a 500 like the regular edition. So the 450, if that's a 450,
That's now it's a collector's item.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know a lot of people that like the 450s better than the 500s.
Yeah, I think most people.
I don't. I like Goosebergs too, but no replacement for displacement. So like, why wouldn't you be pumping out an extra 50 cc's of horsepower? That's a good bike. That's gonna go on the Roost side of the thing. You can decide where it goes over there, but I think my 500 Portugal is better.
Is it a Portugal, or did he switch the plastics from a France?
No, it's a Portugal because
Okay.
it's a 2021, and that's a Portugal. Because this year they're going to Italy. This year is Italy again.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he bought a 21. He bought what did Jim buy? An Italy Erzberg?
That's his 300.
Yeah. So the 21s are Italy's because that's where they're going. That's where 6 days is in a few weeks, and that's a good setup. Did the right modifications to it? Not too much. I don't know what the rubber tie downs and spare tools or gas for. I don't know where.
It's I think the fender or the front fender.
They're like straps over the top or something to hold stuff
A
down.
little bag.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me how we do this segment, Logan.
Eric Shepard.
Okay. And Eric Shepard has a 2016 I hope it's a KTM because he didn't write it. He called it a 300XC, so it's a KTM 300XC. Olin's Fork and Shock. Okay. Seat Concepts Comfort Seat. Now I know why Seat Concepts is so on back order. Because everybody has their stuff on the bike. I know they're good. I just got two for my 500s. I got two of the Comfort. What's the name? What's the name of that material that I use? The one that's on the rally bikes. The neoprene.
What?
Is that what it is? Neoprene or no? Not neoprene. It's Naugahyde. Suede seats.
Yeah.
So
They make an amazing suede.
so nice. I mean,
Their suede is so cherry.
it's the suede seat is so nice because it has grip. I mean, for out west, I don't know how they work in the mud. Although they work pretty good in the mud, but they don't like getting wet a whole lot because then they shrink up and do different things. He has a GPR stabilizer. He has flex bars. Those are Jimmy approved. Nitro Mousse front and rear, and Kenda Parker desert tires. I think that these guys they throw like the stuff that I like in there to try to go higher up on the board, and it's going to work. Yeah, because those tires and those flex bars are good. I would argue a little bit with the steering stabilizer choice, but that's my personal opinion.
These bikes are too good. They're so good. They're boring. We need to get some more. We need to get another Apollo in there.
This one, hold on. Oh, it's a Christini.
Oh, it's more different than a beta.
Yeah.
I only saw that.
Oh, that part.
Bit
It
of
just
it.
didn't look like a good bike. You can tell. So Logan can kind of like see, like the spec sheet is covering up half the bike, and he can see the bottom half, and he already knows that it's junk. He thinks it's junk. Good way to judge. Is that how you do your girls too?
Well, that bike doesn't look like.
Are you a leg
side
man,
plate.
Logan? You a leg man? I forgot what we're doing. Oh, hey, the Olin's Shock and Forks and Shock. That's a good. Have you ridden a KTM with all Olin stuff on it, Ron?
No, I didn't. Olin's kind of the Yamaha company these days. If you want to get trick suspension for your KTM, almost everyone goes with cone valve stuff from WD.
Oh yeah, or now there's a lot of Kayaba conversions. They'll throw Kayaba stuff inside that stuff. But no, I in 2008 I had a bike that was all set up with that Olin's TTX stuff, and and their fork. And you said you've ridden one, Jimmy? Yeah? Good?
It was not set for me. So
Okay, yeah.
it was set up for a rider.
In all honesty, I know a lot of people complain about the XCs because they're not a fan, especially when the 4CS forks. And good God, 2016, I think they still did have those. They were better, but yeah, it's probably an improvement. That's good. I'm gonna just go slightly onto the Roost side, but he does have a carburetor, and it probably does it have a Kickstarter on it too? Does it have electric start?
Wrong side.
You can't see it? Okay. Well, if it didn't have electric start, I'd move it down the board because I don't like riding even mini bikes without electric start.
So, Ron, I did just email you the pictures so that way you can actually, see them with us.
No, okay.
That could
The
be
pictures for the Rate My Bike.
that could be confusing.
Yeah.
It's going to
opening
require
email.
multiple windows here.
Okay, what's our next one? How do we do this?
Ethan Yerkel.
Evan Yerkel?
Yeah.
Glad these pictures are super tiny. Oh, 2021 Beta 300 RR RE. What does RE mean?
Race edition?
Race edition. Okay, I thought they were RRs, like race replica. Hey, on that keyboard, is the E right next to the R?
Yes.
Oh, then you just typed it wrong. As a guy who types a lot, you'd think I would know where the keys are.
Well, you kind of type like one at a time, right?
It's the best way, I thought.
Well, there is a Beta RRRE, though.
Oh, there is an
RR
RRE.
and an RE.
What is an RE? Race
It's the
edition.
one without oil injection. And with closed cartridge fork.
Aren't they called? Oh, so they're all RRs.
They're all RRs, but then you add RE on the end, and it's special.
Then it's race edition. Okay, I thought that. Okay, yeah, you're right. See, don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking. I don't read the specs that much. I don't have to make a buyer's guide every year. IMS tank, FMF turbine core, tubeless system, hammerhead shifter, CR high bars, Cycra handguards, JD jetting, and a custom headlight. That sounds like a pretty good ride.
It does. I always wonder why anyone would badmouth oil injection, though. Because you lose it when you could go with the race edition. And you hear some people saying, oh, yeah, I don't want that. And I love it.
I agree with you. I like fuel injection. I like oil injection. I like electric start. I like all these things. It makes the motorcycle just so much easier to own. And the one thing, so betas are not fuel injected yet. And their jetting on the bikes that we've tested lately has been just spot on, really good. And the difference between the one that you mix the gas on and the one that you don't is, let's say if you're riding on a tight trail for like 10 miles and you come out onto a road and you gas it, the one that you mix the gas on, I don't care how lean you mix the oil and stuff, it still goes blah, 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 and it takes off, where the oil injected one snaps right to life. And even like after a long downhill, just the throttle response is crisper because it does what you wish you could do.
Now, have you ever accidentally put premix in the tank on one with oil injection?
I haven't done it accidentally. I've actually had a little bit of two-stroke gas laying around and poured it in there, but not enough to make a difference. So I'm sure from experience you may be able to educate me on what happens when you do this.
My first experience was, I'm thinking like, I run premix in 4-strokes all the time because I'm lazy. This should go
I do
the same
too.
way,
Yeah.
right? It does not go the same way.
So it over oil injects. It doubles
Yeah, you would
down.
think, because if you run, 20-to-1 and 50-to-1 oil mix, you hardly notice the difference. So if it's doubled up on oil, you wouldn't think it would matter. But no, it matters.
You know how everybody thinks I only like KTM's and Goosebergs and stuff?
Yeah.
I'm going to prove them wrong. Put that way up on the high end. That's a good bike. No, higher. A little bit more. That's right there. Yeah. There we go. It's the highest non-KTM or Gooseberg product, except for that Yamaha TT500. So that's a good bike.
I think that's the highest one.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
It surpassed? Okay, good. That's how it works here. Okay, what's that? I can't get the thing
Todd
on.
Kelly.
Todd Kelly. I think Todd Kelly is a regular listener to this show. Actually, I know that he is because he has asked me Christini questions in the past, and this is a 16 Christini 450 dual sport. He's got a Recluse in it. He has a Seat Concepts. Is this Matt? You know how you're going to go for sponsors?
Yeah.
What company do we need to reach out to sponsor
Seat
this?
Concepts.
Yeah, they'd better sponsor it.
Yeah. We've been saying their name so many times.
Right. Replace the Electron EFI with the newer Delphi EFI system. This is how I know. This is how I know Todd, because I helped him a little bit with some stuff. We talked about it, but I'm not helping Todd because I have the chip, the hacked chip to be able to write code to that ECU. I have it. It costs like a lot of money to get it. It was shipped from like Kyrgyzstan or someplace where they hack this stuff, and I haven't worked on it yet. Added CRF brakes and rear shock. That's really good. And he did a total rebuild, which it looks like it, right? See that?
So what motor is in that?
So it's a 100% knockoff of a CRF 450X. But it's more of a CRF 450 actually. So the way you would look at this bike is it's a fuel injected CRF 450X with the all-wheel drive system. And the all-wheel drive system is pretty bulletproof. They've really got this working, so you don't have too many problems with any of that stuff. But it's like it's an Asia Wing, a 450 Honda knockoff, kind of like what was the other company that was here for a while? That was SSR. Yeah, so it's kind of like an SSR, and but Christini did a pretty good job of getting some stuff done. And then when they evolved into the fuel injection, because they were selling them to the military, they even kind of went a step up. But he's fixed kind of like one of the main weak links, which is the brakes. You know, just going to the Honda brakes makes a big change. That guy's got some pride of ownership in that thing. He's got John 316 on the swing arm. Amen. He's got it going out there for the man above. He's riding for the man above. That's a pretty cool thing, and he's got I don't know which shock he has on it. I think he has the good shock. But you could replace every part inside that motor with Honda parts.
I had an SSR 450 for quite a while, and there's nothing wrong with it. The problem is, I think that everyone gets those and then they start replacing them piece by piece with Honda parts until they are a Honda.
Until it's a Honda.
Jeff Willow raced one for for years. So.
Yeah, I remember seeing he was big on their pit bikes for a while. So yeah, they're it's heavy. The chassis is pretty heavy. But it's a really good trail bike. This is make a really good trail bike. It goes right here someplace, right about here. Pretty nice. So that's our Ron. That's our segment of Roost or Endo. Thanks for sticking around for that. You provided some insight. Now that I know you have a 1967 Suzuki in your garage. Yeah, that could be horrifying. So when are you going to buy? Trevor wanted to know when you're going to buy dirt bike test from us. Because that was really the point of this call, to kind of put you on point there, because it's.
I would like to buy a position there. I'll pay you to work there. Mostly because I want the T-shirt.
Oh.
Promised me a T-shirt 6 years ago at an intro. I've been waiting in the mail.
Probably did. We're on really low supply on the T-shirts. I gave one away, but she's size small, right? Yeah. So you'd look pretty good if we kind of cut the sleeves off like we do. Sometimes make it into like a V-neck, maybe. I'll get you one. I promise.
No.
I'll get you the T-shirt. But yeah, we can pay you in T-shirts.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that an option? Because right now I'm getting paid in Plus products.
Plus products. What's
Plus
that?
Products. Yeah, that was the Super Hunky line of dirt bike merchandise.
Oh, he was Hunky on the merch before everybody?
Hunky had a T-shirt that I bought. I bought when I was 13 years old or 14 when I first started reading dirt bike.
Uh-huh.
He had a picture of his face with the big handlebar mustache.
Yeah.
Silk screened onto a sweatshirt, and it said Super Hunky. And I thought that was cool.
I wonder if he was doing that on his own, like before Roland had it.
Well, he was there before Roland started.
Yeah. So was that his merch line outside of the magazine, and he probably actually like advertised in the magazine about his stuff, or
Could be. I mean, you'd have to ask him.
he'll still sell you. He'll still sell you lots of stuff. Like he sell right.
There's lots of copies of Monkey Butt, I think, available.
Yeah. Best bet. I'm working on writing Monkey Butt 2 right now as we speak. I mean, it's probably a 6-year journey, but I am writing Monkey Butt 2. It's Monkey Butt 2, the death of motorcycle journalism. Which
Logan has no idea who Super Hunky is.
Did you see in the book? It's been on this table before, right?
Yeah.
Did you read it?
No.
You don't read.
Well, I read that Grand Prix one, but that was only I looked at the pictures.
Oh, right. Monkey Butt doesn't have a lot of pictures, but it has really big type. Really easy to read for old people. But yeah, I played a collective role in the death of motorcycle journalism, so I feel like I can. Rick gave me permission to write Monkey Butt 2. I asked him. He said it was good. I could do it. So I'll tell that story about sitting in my first Dirt Bike Magazine editorial meeting.
Was Hunky there?
Yeah, he was the one that stood up for me. That's how the book opens. I have the first chapter written. This is how the book opens. Is when Roland was asking me, not asking me, he was asking Tim or Joe because I didn't exist. I wasn't supposed to be there, so I didn't exist. He was asking Tim or Joe if they just invited guests into the editorial meeting, and Rick like literally had just walked in, and he goes, Chief, he goes, you know who this guy is? And he knew my resume. He knew who I was, and he knew all this stuff, and he's like, he told him it was an honor to have someone of my racing credibility in that room right now. And I was like, whoa, I was kind of blown away. And,
you were like 15?
I was like, no, I had to have been like 16 or 17 because I drove there. So I was, and I submitted a check, an expense report for $46, like at the end of my my 1 month intern, which actually turned into about 3 because they just kept abusing me. But he wouldn't pay it.
I remember reading like in the mid 90s and maybe into the 2000s that you were a Dirt Bike at intern. I remember reading that in Dirt Bike, or maybe I wrote it.
Yeah, you wrote it. Yeah, it was usually somehow a picture would surface of me doing something stupid. And then it would say former Dirt Bike intern, and then it would identify me doing whatever the stupidity was. It was in one of those sections in the magazines where we make jokes about people.
Yeah.
Thank God there.
Lots of pictures in the snow, I think.
Yeah, thank God there wasn't Crash and Burn magazine anymore. So hey, well, Ron, thanks for joining us. Now you can contact Trevor at your convenience. He's got all the paperwork drawn up for the sale of Dirt Bike Test because that's the only. That's the only reason we started this up was to sell it off. It's a one of those. What is it when you grow businesses or do that business stuff?
It will be a hostile takeover, I think.
A hostile takeover. Okay. Because I know you guys got pissed off because of the name. That was we just said what we were. We didn't try to copy anything. We didn't steal your font or any of the other stuff. But
the word dirt bike was never used before we invented it. So I think that we own it.
Oh, it's like trademarked or
trademarked. Super Hunky invented the word.
Well, we got to go talk to Rick about that. So awesome having you on the show. Thanks for adding a little bit of expertise to this shit show. We're going to go on. We got to answer our questions from YouTube. We have, what else do we have to do?
We have another segment that is kind of new.
I told you about this the other day. We have a segment where Logan opens up boxes. We're actually running kind of long. We might not get to the box opening. We could. You never know. You like opening boxes, right? Did you practice this week?
No.
You didn't practice because I wanted this segment to really go off. I wanted it to be better.
Yeah.
So you can't see this. It's super top secret because I know you guys would steal it and you'd probably put it in your magazine and then we'd be, we pioneered this whole segment because kids make $30 million on YouTube doing this. So that's where we're going. Okay, Ron, thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much.
Say bye to Ron. We'll see what a lot of people answered his questions for him, didn't they? Mm-hmm. On the chat. I didn't have a chance to look over there. I was too busy trying to make Logan talk. So
yeah.
Okay, Ron, we'll see you out in the trail.
Okay.
Cheers. Okay. We're going on to YouTube questions.
Okay.
Ready to hit those ones?
DP spin in last year's bike.
DP?
JP.
JP.
Yeah, JP spin. In last year's bike, there were a lot of reports out of India of low RPMs stalling when the clutch was pulled in for a downshift. Has anyone heard whether this has been addressed prior to the U.S. launch?
So JP spin. He's talking about the KTM 390. And the reports out of India, the stalling and stuff, I don't know. I don't know if they have the same. Wasn't aware of this. I didn't know if they have the same thing. But I'll tell you what that thing has. Our bike has quick shift. The US bike has quick shift on it. And I found that if you actually started touching the shift lever while you were riding, it would cause it to rev cut. And so I wonder if there's something to do with that. But no, our bike doesn't have any low RPM stalling. When it starts up, the very first thing when it's cold, it's a little cold blooded and it does tend to stall. In fact, it sometimes it'll start and then just shut off and start and then shut off, and it kind of has to warm up and figure itself out. But once it's up and running, we don't have any stalling. So no, I think that's been addressed if there isn't anything. Rod Burke wants to know.
I've been a BMW fanboy for many years, starting with the 1600 GTL, then the GS 1200. A couple of years ago, I decided to sell my GS because it wasn't getting ridden enough, partly because I didn't have a riding partner, and I feel I'm getting too old to wrestle the GS off-road. I bought a RE Himalayan. Didn't George and Jim teach you how to pronounce that? I always thought you guys were just making fun of it.
Oh no, we were just teaching you how to pronounce it.
Oh. I just rode the Colorado BDR with...
On a Himalayan? Wow. Yeah, with the Himalayan.
While I think that little bike did great, the 24 horsepower is a bit overwhelming, especially on the highway. The Tenere 700 will be my next bike when I can find one. The entire West Coast is sold out. Here's my point. I'm now 65 years old. I don't want a huge 1200cc adventure bike. I want something that is comfortable on the highway for a few hundred miles a day, yet easy to handle off-road. I want a bike that easier for me to maintain, like the Himalayan, but not too intimidating to drop and pick back up. I'm not an aggressive rider / racer off-road, so I don't need a KTM 890. The Tenere 700 bike seems to fit that niche better than anything out there.
He answered his own question.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's actually Himalayan.
Himalayan?
Yeah.
So, okay.
Himalayan, but
So you guys were making fun of it.
no, we're making fun of you.
Oh.
No, there was a guy that came to our class. Remember the guy when someone came to our class and he called it Himalayan. That's
Yeah.
Detonation.
Huh?
Remember detonation?
Yeah, detonation. Yeah, same thing. It's just like so we just picked up on it and started doing that. Just call us mean. Sorry. So anyways, we started calling them Himalayans. Man, the T7 is such a step up from the Himalayan, and it is a good bike, and you're still going to be picking up something that's pretty heavy. The Himalayan actually has a pretty low center of gravity. It's a low slung bike, and all the weight's down low. The T7 and bikes like this they pick the weight up a little bit higher. They've got kind of more stuff up there. I bet you it actually probably weighs less, but it might be a little harder to pick up if that's what you're worried about. But you know what? If you're a good rider, Logan, guess what you don't have to do?
Pick up dirt bikes.
Yeah, you don't pick them up that much because you don't tip them over. So that could be a thing. So sounds Sounds pretty good. Should we open a box?
Box or bag?
Well, it's anything that you open up is good. The ratings are gonna go through the roof right now. I think. Oh, Trevor's trying to call us. Doesn't he know we're doing a damn show right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you?
We had some technical issues there that just got resolved, so I've been checked out for a while.
Right. So I'm gonna actually. Why don't I just go ahead and answer this? This is how we do this. Trevor, welcome to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. You're live on the show. How you doing? You're doing what? Wait a minute. Hold on. Why is my phone? Wait, it's supposed to be on the speaker. There we go. You just off the bicycle race course?
Yeah, we are off the bicycle race course.
So are you breathing hard?
I was.
Did you win?
I'm good now. What?
Did you win?
I won first loser.
Oh, you got second place.
Can you turn him up
First
or
loser.
hold it closer to the mic?
Can I turn him up? Yeah, hold on. We're gonna turn you up. I can hear him pretty good. Can you? You can't? Okay. How's that?
Good?
Yeah, that's
we
good. So we're gonna ask you a lot about the Yamaha. Actually, we're gonna bring you in on a Zoom call. But Matt is. I paid Matt today. I gave him a check. And
It's slacking.
yeah, all of a sudden the performance goes down, and you'll never believe who I just hung up on a minute ago.
Who's that?
Some guy named Ron Lawson.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's the guy that tried to hire you away from us.
Oh, that guy.
But now evidently he wants to work for us. So you've got to get him the offer to buy dirt bike tests by tomorrow morning. He says there's a 10 a.m. deadline on when he's gonna start looking for other opportunities.
I'll have it by 9:59.
Okay. So we were just getting ready to open a box. Actually, I saw Logan here just woke up. He literally just woke up. And he's like, "Oh, I get to open presents." So we're not going to talk about Yamahas that we rode yesterday.
Okay.
Because they're almost exactly the same as the ones from the year before, right?
Yes, they felt very, very similar.
Very similar.
If I remember right.
Yeah, I think that the motors were absolutely 100% identical. So if you're thinking about those bikes, if they were 2022s, then that would answer the question. We never answered that guy's question if it was better than the Honda.
No.
No, we started talking about how Ron should have wrote the whole test after he loaded up in the back of his truck,
Yeah.
like any good journalist would. So what else was I supposed to talk to you about, Trevor? What were you calling me for? Do you want to get paid too?
Sure. I like free money.
Free money.
If I don't do anything for it, then I'm in. I'm a millennial. That's what we do.
Right. Aren't you supposed to start a brand or something like that? Is that how you do it?
That's too much work.
Or market or something? Or aren't you going to school for what, business or marketing?
I was, but that's over with. Now I got to grow up a little bit. Do something.
Well, if you just sell dirt bike tests, then we'll be fat cats. Because I mean, usually the companies like this sell for millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I'll still do this. I'll do this show for like a year. I mean, my demands will be pretty high on the price, like what it costs. But if we make that money, I'll stay on for like a year as an advisor, consulting.
Make something work.
Yeah.
Make something work with that.
Okay, so how come you didn't win your bike race?
That's a good question.
Right.
I had a really good weekend, so I just didn't want to. I wanted to spread the love a little bit. Let someone else have the spotlight.
Okay, so you're talking about your good weekend was your Vegas to Reno ride.
Yes.
All I saw was the side of the bike, the profile, the side of the bike from the GoPro, and you're not. That's not a good weekend.
No.
No.
That's not.
No, you're not.
Practicing my balance.
No.
Sure, I found the balance point.
No. So, but do you think that maybe because you rode a motorcycle yesterday, it compromised your performance on the bicycle today?
That definitely did not help.
It didn't help.
And SRA on Sunday didn't help either.
Oh, there's a video of him getting taken out at SRA too. You seen this?
That's all right.
Yeah.
Lost balance again.
Yeah. You didn't put that on Dirt Bike Test, did you?
Not yet.
You didn't promote that one.
No.
Yeah. Right. Well. Okay. I think we've used you up there because Logan's like he's really getting excited. He wants to put. He's willing to put on a hat that looks like a taco so he can open up a box right now.
There you go.
Yeah. Is that why you came here to watch him put his hat on?
I think she wants to wear the hat.
Oh, his Logan brought evidently his ex-girlfriend here. Yeah, we're not really sure what's going on. This is it's put me in an uncomfortable position.
I'm uncomfortable now.
Okay, well we'll talk about dirt bikes later because that's what this show is about. So
All right.
glad you got second place, and we're not going to break any Yamaha news tonight that I know of.
Next time.
No, we got a whole. That's a whole
next
thing. We can't even talk about it next week. So
I think we can break that one.
you want to try to break it? Then we don't get invited anymore. Then we don't have to go do those things. But I want to ride the YZ125.
You're right. I do too. So maybe let's not break it this time.
Okay. Right on, Trevor. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Talk to you later.
You're like a cat that's ready to pounce on a mouse. You really want to see what's in the bag, don't you? Or what do you want to see?
Well, I can see what's in both of them, but
Well, what's in the bag? I don't even know what's in the bag.
if I had to guess, a ECU or a computer.
Because it came from Takamoto?
Yeah.
Okay, get it, grab it, put on your hat.
Oh.
Have to put on the hat to open this stuff up. See, everybody told me I got a little bit too animated last week. Everybody told me I got a little too animated. This is where the viewership. You can go ahead and shoot a picture of him like right now, and then put it on the Instagrams or whatever.
It will be on YouTube and everything. So
Tell everybody what we're doing.
there's only 47 people watching. So they're pressure, Logan.
Come on, up here on the table. Don't open it under the table.
Oh, I was trying to keep the
Sound
volume
down.
Yeah.
Okay, well I can turn the volume down for a second while you.
No, don't turn the
Nope,
volume
it's
down.
open.
Don't touch it.
Yeah,
Don't touch it.
I don't want to wreck it.
Yeah, don't touch it.
Oh, there was my.
Stickers. Those are candies. He throws candies in there.
Was not expecting that.
You were not expecting that.
No.
So what do we just open up, Logan? Because remember, this is generally a podcast, and people listen to it. They don't really watch you. Although you do look really ridiculous wearing that taco hat, thanks to Ricky Braybeck and Sarah Price.
Yeah.
I don't think they actually got. They probably wouldn't be able to stand watching this for this long to actually see this, but it is good. Hey, when that light was green up there? Was that a problem?
I don't know.
So that was just going to Zoom, and then when I turned on to OBS, it switched over to OBS. That was not what happened. What happened was the network dipped on our end, and then we lost everything for like 10 seconds.
Oh, 10 seconds is nothing.
Yeah. Well, I just kept recording. I didn't want to ruin the audio.
You could miss a half an hour of this show, and you would hardly notice it.
Yeah.
What do we got, Logan?
Quite possibly ultra slim oil insert caps thingamajigs.
Okay, so what do they do? You did no instructions?
Ultra slim oil filter cap.
Are there instructions on how to use them? What are they? Oil Moto Ultra Slim Oil Filter Cap. We have a black one, an orange one, a red one, and a blue one. And you can open it. That's what the whole thing is. It's all opening shit. I want those things out on the table, like in full display of everybody. You can hear Logan playing with those things. Oh.
Oh, they're nice.
Okay. Curious. So I think this is because on some of the KTMs, so this is the oil filler cap that goes on the clutch cover, and on some of the KTMs, I'm aware of some of the different headers and some of the pipe guards and stuff kind of get down and they start touching and melting the stock plastic ones. He has TMC engraved in the top, And this is so it's knurled on the side, so hopefully you can open and close it with your hand, which I think you should be able to. And then if you had to, you could always put a little channel lock on top of it and stuff. I would like to see like a Phillips head, or not a Phillips head, but a big flat bladed groove on the top as well. But then you shouldn't be tightening them up that much. But yeah, I wonder if so. This is a red one.
Yeah.
Would that go on a? Because they're KTM's. Or is that thread on the oil fill caps the same on all different bikes?
No, but
Yeah, could be.
it does.
Yeah,
I cross over.
Yeah, I mean they seem well. The Honda ones that had those little tiny ones, those always piss me off.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good. We have that, Logan. We open up a package. So now our YouTube views are just going through the roof. We just leave them up on the table there next to the Tacosaurus. We'll see if they actually make it out to the garage and end up like that. That orange one looked really good on your new bike.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mine. You're not getting it. Did you see your name on that address label? You've got to go out and work on people to send us more stuff so you can open it up. And if it comes with your name on it, then you get to take it.
Okay.
How's that work? That's good. Okay.
Isn't there another box?
Yeah.
Okay, we can open another box.
Yeah,
Well, actually, this one came this is because Trevor got it for me.
yeah.
Oh, that one is mine.
Oh, that's yours?
Yeah, sure.
You got to keep opening. So this is a box. It's a big square box. It's about the size of a motorcycle helmet because that's what's in it. It's a motorcycle helmet. And the way that I know this is because I had to open the box at the track the other day before we went riding the new Yamahas that we can't talk about. So it's a Fly Formula. It's I know which one it is because I read it on the box here. It's the original white, and I've already graphicked it up with my stickers and stuff. And I have to. It's going to lead us into talking about helmets, which I wanted to do. That's the reason I put it in there. This is the first time I've worn the Fly Formula helmet, and a lot of people ask me questions all the time about helmets, and because I know a little bit, probably more than most. I'm probably the biggest, most outspoken person when it comes to helmets, where I say it doesn't matter what you paid for your helmet. Just be ready to buy another one if you use it. So I haven't used this helmet, and by used it, I mean I haven't crashed in it. So I can't tell you like how it works, nor would the way that it worked for me be the way that it worked for you, because every time you crash, it's a little bit different. You tell me how you're going to crash, I can probably recommend a helmet that would absorb that impact better than a different helmet and whatever. So this is pretty cool because the good thing about this helmet is, and the good thing about like kind of some of the stuff that actually Fly's doing from what I've heard from some of their stuff is they're bringing the technologies that are inside of this helmet to some of their lower price helmets. Because this is an expensive helmet. This is in the $600 range helmet, I think. Because this one, I don't.
700.
Yeah, 640 or 650 or something. And because is this one? I don't know if this is the carbon one. It doesn't appear to be the carbon one. Because I saw the invoice that was in one of the boxes, but it was a white red one, and I think that's the one that Trevor got. I should have asked him on the line. But this one is F7. So that's the high one. But inside of it, there's two things. There are these blue, they're absorption dampening. What do they call this stuff? Rheon. Rheon. And they're these in some of the impact zones here. Here on the side, they've got how many of them are in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there's 6, maybe more, because I have the liner inside there. It's a special material. It's very energy absorbing, and it also has some rotational characteristics to it that so if your head starts, it allows your head to spin. So it doesn't. It's like similar to the way that the MIPS works. It stops the rotational impacts, which they're actually finding out more and more are causing a lot of a lot of the damage and stuff. And then they have what they call the cone head, which is multi layers of EPS foam, and they're shaped in cones so that they can literally have softer foam inside of the helmet, and then also have stiffer foam. So it's basically a matrix of two different types of foam. And what that does is it allows the helmet to be the foam to be as soft as it can be, which is important in lower speed impacts, but it allows it to be stiff when you need a stiffer impact. And so pretty good helmet. I thought it was going to be a little bit lighter than it was when I wore it. Fit was on the tight side, which is good. It felt like a more of an oval or it didn't feel like a round helmet. It actually was tight. It fit me good. The padding inside it was really good. Everything about this just seems like it was a really good, high quality helmet. Vending was up there. I mean, you look at the front of this thing, and it was hot yesterday too.
Oh yeah. Not nearly as hot as it was the day before. The clouds kind of helped, but it was still hot.
Yeah, and it was funny because I found myself, like, usually I want to take my helmet off when I stop and come in for a few minutes, and I was stopping and coming in for a few minutes. We were changing some stuff on the suspension, just clicking around, and I noticed I didn't take my helmet off. I didn't have the desire to quickly want to take my helmet off, which was kind of surprising because of how humid it was. So overall, pretty decent helmet. My wife has been wearing one of these for a better part of a year now. She's had one of these, so I guess if I put her in it, then I trust it, right? And what you need to know is literally what standards does it pass and all this stuff. So really nice helmet. So I got to try it even though it was in the box already.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I don't want to give you one of these because you'll probably test it.
Yeah, probably.
That's an extra visor.
Yeah, we don't want to test helmets here.
Comes with an extra visor. That's good because sometimes the visors break off. Visor is still actually screwed onto the helmet. It's not one of the magnetic ones and stuff. So pretty cool. So
YouTube chat comments questions now.
Yeah.
There was actually a few.
Hey, while you're doing that, a guy named Loveless Isimo, he saw the Christini video and he said, "What is this witchcraft?" So all-wheel drive motorcycles are now witchcraft.
Yeah. It's a good thing we're not in Salem.
And what does this guy say? What's his name?
Oh, Zahaba Zofuka.
Zohaben? Zulfiker.
Yeah.
Zulifkar. Yeah, that's exactly how you say it. You want to try that one more time? Say it. Use it in a sentence.
Zahaban. Oh, yeah, I got one. Zahaban Zofeka said, "What? How? We do? Huh?"
That's really what he
Period.
said. This is not only can you not pronounce his name, he says wah, whoo, ha, we do ha. So this is the internet for you. These are the questions that we get on the show. Matt, can you translate?
Give me 1 second.
No, don't worry about it. I don't want you to drop the whole show out because we can't pronounce.
No, I might need another shot of tequila.
Yeah, for that one for sure. Me too.
It's been rough over here.
Okay, what does VidMoto want to know?
Best.
Look at this freaking kid won't read off of a paper. He's resisting reading off of paper. He wants to read off of his phone.
Well, I always mess it up, and I want you to be able to read it, so you
I can correct you?
hop in and so I alys mess up something.
I'm not your crutch, bro. You handle it. I won't shove paper down your throat anymore. You just read it, okay?
VidMoto, best break-in process for the new Beta 390 RR. I'm sure you have. Oh, the 390 RR. I'm sure you have discussed this on previous shows. Point me in the right direction of episode if you can. If not, what's the Jimmy Lewis approach to a new bike/motor?
It if we had, remember that project I was going to put you on where you go back and you catalog what we talked about in each show and you put it in a spreadsheet?
Yeah.
How's that coming?
Not good.
Not good. That's a F.
Well,
grade.
that was I didn't really know that was set in stone. I thought it was more of a toss-up idea.
Yeah, do you ever notice when we're around here and we talk about like people that are self-starters and just grab the bull by the horns and run with the project and get it done, all that stuff. That was talked about in that context, hoping that someone would just initiative and like if you ever see a weed growing around this property, like around here, and you want to do something, you can go kill it. Yeah, and that doesn't take a whole lot of like almost anybody can do that. But like this project, this would take a little bit of time, and I think you could do it by next week. I mean, you don't have any homework or anything, do you?
No, I wish I didn't.
Is it math homework?
No.
Oh,
So, okay, so let's get to. So his question is, no. So blame Logan for not getting the spreadsheet done yet. So I can't point you to that episode, but I can tell you the way to break in a new motor because this is good. This is good advice. So you've been sifting through all this bull crap on this show, and you're finally he's going to tell me something that I can use. So when you get your new bike, what should you do with it? Basically, like the kind of thing is, don't lug it a lot. Don't rev the piss out of it. I like to run them through a few heat cycles. So my thing is if it's brand new, just out of the crate, and I put it in, I'll like start it up and let it warm up and let it idle and maybe, give it a couple little revs, but not big revs, let it warm up a little bit and then shut it down and let it cool down. I'll do that 1 or 2 or 3 times maybe. If it's my bike and I want to ride it for 1,000 hours and I've spent my good hard-earned money, this is what I'll do. So I'll warm it up 3 or 4 times, maybe once when I get it, maybe when I'm putting my gear on, getting ready or whatever. And then I just go out and ride it. And I'll ride a tank of gas off of it where I'm trying, I'm not super lugging it. I'm not super revving it out. Yeah, I'll rev it and I'll run it, medium, but not super hard. And then usually I come back in after that, change the oil in the motor, look at the motor oil, see if it's good. And then the next time I ride it like I stole it. At that point, it's game on. I feel like if it's run for, a tank of gas is a couple hours, then anything that's funky, if something was wrong, it probably would have started to go wrong, and there would have been some indication in the oil. And for me, the motors tend to take about, if I'm racing it, I would put an hour on it before I would actually go and race it. But really, motors take like 4 or 5 hours. When they're brand new, they take 4 or 5 hours to start running their best, most of them. And it's just where things like the shifting loosens up and stuff like that. And your suspension's going to take a good few hours to, get broken in. And then I send that in and get it serviced. And that's what I do. So if you have a beta, you're probably going to have to add oil to the front forks. Just saying. My experience in the last every beta, it seems like I've had to do. So RJ, hopefully that helps you out. And all good.
Now, question. Why no super revs, but why no super lug?
Because that's just as hard on the motor in kind of like when you're really lugging it, there's no momentum or inertia in the in the crank and stuff like that. So it's actually like really, how it's, when you have a little bit of momentum, when you're on your bicycle or something like that, it's just a little bit easier. But when you're really cranking, it's like Mac and probably it's like moment of loads. Is there something like that in physics?
Moment of inertia.
Moment of inertia, yeah. But like so it gets spread. It gets spread out. Was that word?
No,
MLI. Moment of inertia. Yeah. So it gets spread out over time. So it's not hard on just like individual. A little bit of momentum.
Okay.
Yeah. So and the lugging is. It's very rare that people do that anyways. Most of the time they just slip the clutch all the time. You don't want to do that either. Okay. What's next?
Chuck Diego. I just took my 2021 Beta 200 today for the first time. I did not lug it, and I did not wring its neck. I burned a half of a tank of fuel, put it back in the truck. It will be fine. I had a 2018 Beta 390 before this one. You will love that bike. Enjoy.
Well, Chuck Diego should do the show. I could just sit over there and Chuck should come in here because he just answered the question exactly like I did.
No, she comes sit in the producer seat.
No, I can't do that. I'm trying to read off of a paper. It's like you and Logan handle that.
Oh yeah.
Mike Patrick. Mike was right there at the beginning of the show. Mikey P. I have a question. What happened to the Honda 400 with radical active combustion? It seems to have just disappeared off the face of the earth. Well, of course it did, because Honda doesn't like two-strokes, even if they invent something called radical active combustion, which was just saying it was a little bit more cleaner burning. It was a very clean burning two-stroke, and I think it was. I don't know this, but I think it was kind of like a precursor to kind of fuel injection and a precursor to possibly direct injection. Although that was a carbureted bike as far as I knew. And I rode that thing, the EXP. It was called the EXP 400, and it was a Dakar Rally bike, and they actually raced it in the Nevada Rally as well. But what it did is it actually held the power valve down lower so that it had longer to burn. But once they turned it into a race version, that kind of just went out the window. But they made CRMs in Japan that had this technology, and it was a cleaner burning two-stroke. But Honda pretty much wrote two-strokes off at some point. They just said we are not going to produce these anymore, and they don't. Because two-stroke is a bad word in some. Anytime you're talking about anybody that talks about emissions and emissions compliancy and all this stuff, two-stroke is a bad word. That's why there's a motor called an orbital that they put in powerboats. That's a two-stroke that is very emissions compliant and very clean running. But they do not call it a two-stroke. They call it an orbital. Chuck Lawson. Chuck was the guy who was working in the service department at the first Kawasaki dealership, Kawasaki Central, that I rode for back in Oxnard, California, when I started racing motocross. He would help me out when I was your age and I had stupid questions, like what spark plug do I put in my KX80? He would tell me. Chuck asks, on my 2020 Husky TE150i, it has quite a bit of black ooze coming out of the exhaust. It runs great. What can I do about this? Or am I just riding it like an old man? TE150i, that's fuel injected. I don't have any experience with those. I'm wondering if have I ridden the fuel injected 150? I don't believe I have. That is 100% directly related to the oil injection system. And I will tell you that and I have a lot of experience with the KTM 300, and they don't leak spooge stuff out the muffler very much, do they? Hardly at all.
None.
Yeah, none. Yeah, you guys have experience with them. I know.
I had my packing out at 100 hours.
And it was still dry.
The packing, I was putting a spark arrestor on there for
Yeah.
the race, and it's the same weight as when it was brand new.
Yeah, they're really they're pretty clean running. But I noticed that between the Beta 300 and the 200, so you're going to a smaller displacement, the 200 had a little bit more oil spooge coming out of the back of the muffler, and I don't know if they've just kind of adjusted the oil injection on it to run a little bit, a little bit hot. And you think about it. Like, I don't know exactly how quickly that thing is, pumping little pulses of oil in it, but you think about how much you're up at the high RPM where it's got to put a lot in, and then you quickly drop down to low RPM, and then it goes back up. So it's probably, they're probably compensating it. It's a little bit more on the richer side. So I could see where a bike that's, running quite a bit, it's not just constantly in the mid RPMs where it would be a little bit leaner on the oil side. It's a little bit higher up. So I could see where that could be that's the way it is, but it runs great. What can I do? But I'm wondering maybe you could try a different oil. Try switching to an oil that maybe might not be, maybe you run the recommended brand and it does it. Maybe try just a different brand that's of the same stuff. That might work. I don't know. Let's see. Mike Patrick says, haha, you sound like you're talking about the Shelby Cobra AC when you talk about your Gooseberg 570. They used to say that the Cobra didn't accelerate from a standstill when you gassed it, that it just pulled the earth told it and stand still. Well, great products do the same thing to the earth. So that's just the way it is. It looks like the MME is a clutch lever. Oh, Mountain Motorsports Engineering. I know this. Midwest Mountain Engineering. Yes. It alters the leverage ratio on the clutch. I absolutely hate those things. And don't judge. I didn't say it was good or bad. I don't like them because they make the clutch so easy to pull in, but the engagement point changes quite a bit, like how the clutch feel and also the shape of their lever. I have little tiny hands, as you can see, and they have a kind of a bigger more square blade, and it's just not made for me. But so do we need to pull that bike off the board and put it lower now?
No, I was just.
You're just checking to see where it was. Let's see.
Yeah, this is a comment actually about the point you just made.
Yeah, it makes yep. That they for some people love those things. If you feel like your clutch pull is too hard, that's a good way to change it. I think they change it I think they go way overboard on it for me personally, but some people really like them. I'm a more fan of a quicker pull and engagement. So let's see. Yeah, we had that. RE is the race edition on the betas. Correct. And all the other comments are for my producer Matt here, who has wrecked the stream. Yeah, he wrecked the stream. He broke the internet tonight.
Yeah.
And
it's all my fault.
Don't worry, you guys will go fix it in post. It'll be like it never happened.
Oh no, post there won't be a single problem.
Jordan Burns said this show is 100% NMF, and he's 100% correct. It's NMF.
Actually, I don't know what NMF is.
You're not going to either. Super top secret.
Got it.
Yeah. Anything else?
There's this
Solar SS. He says, I can't even see the classic two-strokes making that much of an impact on the environment. Take one diesel semi-truck, and it probably does more than all of the two-stroke combined exhaust pollution. Not necessarily, but I will tell you that all of the equipment running underneath the 747 that's sitting idling at LAX right now, all of that equipment that's on the ground is regulated to the T's, and that 747, when it takes off, it negates any two-stroke emissions that are produced all year long, period. So it's good that they're regulating two-strokes for emissions. And this started a long time ago, and it's nothing more than just it's just another thing that some bureaucrat can point their finger at and say, look, we cleaned this up. So it started in California, and you guys made the best gas cans ever. Don't you love those ones that don't spill that you get from California? Because they really work. I've never, ever got one of those things to work without spilling twice as much. So there we go. Just like two-strokes. Yeah, thanks, Solar. And a Solar guy you'd think he'd be pretty environmentally conscious, I think.
Yeah. Surprised there's no Yamaha questions.
Yeah, they probably read our 2019 test. They did change the suspension. They did do some stuff. There's some changes in that wheel. They changed it. And I'll tell you what, from my history, not specifically talking about that bike because I'm not allowed to, but in my history with Yamaha changing things, they're kind of on the leading edge sometimes to change. They'll do things that are different. They have over the past, just different types of, suspension systems and all different kinds of things. But they don't take it lightly, and they really, really do test it. So when they make a change on a bike, something like, changing the spoke pattern on the wheel or changing the wheel spacers on the front fork, making an alteration to how, thick or wide the wheel spacers are, they do it because it works. And you're probably not going to notice it if you just hop, from what you're on a KX450 and you buy a Yamaha and you ride it, and it's not something you're going to notice there. But if you have the bikes back to back, if you have last year's bike and this year's bike and you ride them back to back, a high level guy will feel it. A guy that tests stuff, and if you have 3 of those guys, at least 2 of them would have decided that the change that they made had a better feeling. So that's the way that they typically do things. And some manufacturers just kind of jump on the change because it's a change, and Yamaha seems like they really do test this stuff. And when they make a change like that, even, no matter how small, there's some sort of a benefit. The only time I don't really know about that is when they went to the white air box, and then the marketing guy told me it was because the air was going to be cooler that was coming inside the air box. And
kind of like how Bold New Graphics.
Yeah, and then they went back,
changed the handling. And
they went back to black after a couple of years, and I said, "Well, what about that hot air now that you're sending into the air box?" And the question was not answered very well. So,
yeah.
What else we got to do, Logan? Did you want to eat one of those candies? I'm sitting over here just drinking away, having my tequila and my beer. You're just having a look at that candy. You want it? There's 2 of them there. You could share one with your ex-girlfriend. Maybe you could win her back. That's what I would do with, girls her age. I say, hey, you want a candy? I shouldn't do that?
No.
I highly would not recommend that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you got the candy right there. I mean, it's like... Oh, wait, I should be saying, hey, you want some? No. Okay, on that note, I think we got to sign this one off, don't we, Matt?
Yeah,
Stop?
yeah. We're getting close to that time. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's long enough. Logan's got homework. He wants to take Taco Hut home. I'm not letting him until you get that. And you're going to wear that every show until we get that list of what was on the past shows done.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the agreement. And that check over there, it's dangling. That something has to get finished for that too. You got to get those other things up there. So, okay, with that, guys, we will. What do we do?
See you out on the trail.
See you on the trail.
Cheers.
Cheers.